Hey guys, Louis here. Welcome back to ACORN Hill and welcome back to my channel. Wanted to thank everybody out there who has been curious, interested, and are loyal, avid, regular viewers of my startup YouTube channel. And guys, I know I haven't been online and haven't been producing content, or at least posting content in the last few weeks. It has been a busy season for me. Thanksgiving happened and occurred in North America, and I wanted to just thank everybody who's been nice and loyal enough to continue subscribing. We have an influx of regular subscribers that are coming on board. Belated happy Thanksgiving to all of you who live in the United States, and for those of you who are getting exposed globally to this American holiday, we wanted to send our thanks and gratitude to every one of you out there. I have a lot of content that I wanted to push out and start informing you guys as to what's happening with me, as to what's going on and I've been building and creating here on the property. So I wanted to just start off with this project that I did back in late summer, early autumn. This is my compost station. The start of the pandemic in 2020 allowed me to have a lot of time putting together our garden and finally building different sections of the property where I know we would want to grow either ornamental plants, herbaceous plants, and vegetables. Part of our property had what I call the problematic area where there's always been flooding happening, which I turned into our very productive vegetable patch for 2021. A year after the start of the pandemic. And again, on and off, I've been trying to think and tinker on what to do, not only making this piece of the property productive and sustainable for us as we grow vegetables. This year as well, in 2021, the second year that I'm doing my gardening almost full time, I know that I will produce a lot of waste and a lot of branches and dead material that really is the best source of organic material that I can turn either as mulch or actual compost that we will use for beds, that we could also use to improve and amend the soil because we have that heavy clay soil. And so this video is a very short overview of what I did and how I built our compost stations. Located toward the bottom section of my reclaimed problematic garden area, I decided to build a 2-bay compost station made of cedar. What I've done here is I've inserted 4x4 pieces of 6-foot lengths of wood. I've got cedar planks that they use for fencing that I thought would be the best cost-effective material that I can use in order to keep this long-lasting. It should last me at least 6 to 8 years with the type of material that I use for these compost stations. This is my first time to actually and finally be able to practice composting with this type of heavy-duty compost station. I've done trial and error many times over the years, and I've also had my fair share of fails. Through these fails, I was able to sort out a few things to consider in building my new compost stations, and these are the following. I'm going to give them to you randomly as I think that each of these are very important highlights that we all could consider when we build our own. It is important that the site is not subjected to extremes of temperature and moisture. The microorganisms, meaning the bacteria and the fungi, that will convert the waste to compost work best in constant conditions. And so this specific spot in the garden is the best temperature controlled, climate controlled, if you will, in our part of the garden. I positioned the stations in a semi-light shade to some shade. It is often more convenient to use a shady area in the garden, as they say, but in this spot of the garden, I have a big overhanging tree and a couple of growing trees that will in the future shade this area as well. Another important thing to consider is the base of the station. An earth base for any compost station is best because it allows drainage and access to soil organisms, which is clearly what I have in this setup. Now note that my soil is clay, and adding this amount of compost right on top of this section of the garden with this clay will allow the clay to break down, have better friability, and will just allow a lot more nutrients and microorganisms to work it well. But if you have compost on a hard surface, then add a spadeful of soil to the compost bin. Bins retain some warmth and moisture and make better compost more quickly. But even in an open heap, which means it's not enclosed in a bin, it will compost eventually. Any of the compost bins on the market should produce compost as long as they exclude rain, retain some warmth, and allow drainage and let in air. I realized that this video is not only quick, but it's also incomplete. And again, guys, this is just a preview of what I will have and what I will be introducing you to as I develop my own compost, as this section of the garden also become another productive area. I'll be giving you an update as we go along. In the coming weeks, I will teach you how to do Composting 101. It's the basic primer on how we will produce these organic materials. And also, guys, I want to thank every one of you for subscribing. Thank you for being part of my channel. I know many of you out there have emailed me and messaged me as to why I've been quiet for the last few weeks, and I'll do a better job in posting more material and more content, as I have a huge backlog with everything that I wanted to share with you guys. In the meantime, this is Louie, and we'll see you back here on Acorn Hill. Bye-bye for now.